Alright, welcome to INCTV. Today we're interviewing Mr. Nabil Mustafiz, who is an old boy of ACSI. And just a quick run through of what he's done over the years. He studied here between 1996 to 2000, and then moved on to study in ACJC from 2001 and 2002, where he was the student council, he was a member of the student council as well as the JC debate team that won the nationals that year. Anyway, he went on to serve in the national service as an officer, and then studied law in NUS. And there he was part of the Debate Association's executive committee, and then stepped down in 2007 to join the Mendaki Club executive committee, which he's a part of today. And so now he's a litigation lawyer in Jubilee. I bet that's fun, or at least gets you some money. I'm reading here that you started a scholarship in ACJC with some friends.
Yeah, that's correct.
So what's that about? About it.
Okay, the idea hit me sometime while I was in national service, that it shouldn't be too, you don't have to be too old, or you don't have to earn lots of money before you could give back to your school. And there are lots of scholarships out there that recognize a lot of the same things, meaning your academic achievements, your ECA achievements. But the common thing about all these all these scholarships was that the first and foremost criteria was academic qualifications. Now, I wasn't a very bright student. I liked doing a lot of things, which meant it took a lot of time away from studies. And so a bunch of us from ACJC got together and said, you know what, let's see. There are some people who deserve a bit more recognition because of the variety of things they do and do it well, but not necessarily that great in studies. Of course, you're not failing, or you do well enough, but not well enough to get a prestigious scholarship. So we got together and we said, look, we're not very. We reached out and started work. We had just graduated, so we pulled people together and said, you know what, whatever you can contribute, just contribute. And then we will sit down and look at some of the people who we think deserve this sort of recognition, or a pat on the back that says, you know what, just because a specific statutory board or a specific organization doesn't recognize your academic qualifications or achievements, doesn't mean you're not someone who deserves some sort of recognition. And so we got together and we decided to give it out to someone in ACJC, who's given not just to the school but to the community, and has done something good, has done well in ECAs. And that's it. We never once mentioned academic qualifications. We never made it a criteria. In fact, we had to push the teachers in ACJC to say, you know what, we were not making it a criteria at all. So yeah, we just gave it up to our first recipient this year. Funny story, they wanted an upfront sum. I said, no, we can't give you an upfront sum. We don't have that much money. And if that's what you want, that goes against our idea, which is give in small contributions, give whatever you can. Of course, a couple of us would make sure that the money was there, but yeah, that was it.
Alright, speaking of variety in your ECAs, in your time here in ACSI, you were the band major for the concert band.
Yeah.
You played for the cricket team in debate and in student council over at ACJC.
Yeah.
So what was that like, juggling that many CCAs and ECAs?
Well, ACSI was the band and the debate, and then in ACJC, I decided, you know what, I'll stick to debate because I enjoyed it. And then came the other thing about let's do something else. I was a very restless kid. I could never sit down with one thing or very few things. I had to dabble in a lot of things. So yeah, I decided, you know what, the thing about being part of an ACS family or ACS school is that the best experiences are with your friends. And so and so band I joined because my friends were all in it. Debate was an interest. So same thing I carried on in ACJC. Debate was an interest and I enjoyed it. And then a couple of friends said, you know what, let's do something for the school and sit together, and we all just joined the council. Cricket was something that my friends pulled me into, like, hey, you know what, let's just go and play. I'm like, sure, why not? So for a year I played cricket. It was fun. So yeah, that's why I ended up doing so many different things, because my friends wanted to try new things, I wanted to try new things, and one thing led to another, where I ended up with 6 different CCs.
would you say that your time with the different CCAs helped chart your course for the rest of your life? Or at least helped you to find your interest?
I think every step sort of helps chart your way and into your future, but I think specifically both student council and debate, as well as the leadership position I had in the concert band, sort of molded certain, or nudged me in certain directions into studying law and taking up more responsibilities with the exco positions I've held, and initiating something to give back. So these were, I think, all that was a very potent concoction for never really sitting down and doing one thing for the rest of my life.
Alright, you mentioned that you joined the few CCAs for your friends, right? Do you have any particular stories from your times in the CCAs, particularly memorable?
For sure. When I was here, we used to go for, every year we used to have 2 band camps, I think a year, or maybe one, I can't remember, it was 12 years ago. There were these nights when we would never sleep because for no reason we used to have video camera, we used to record our performances. We used to have this video camera, and now that it's been 12 years and statute of limitation applies, I can say this. We used to borrow a video camera and make random skits and random movies for fun through the night. I don't know why we did that, but yes, that was here. In ACJC,
sensing some reminiscing.
Oh wow, those were some fun times. Well, not with just my ECA friends, but I had tons of memories with them. My whole class one day decided to skip. Just say that right.
Yeah, I think so.
We decided to skip class, and all of us, well, half of us went to Gimmo, McDonald's, and the other half went to Holland Village. So here's a physics lecturer, and she sees one whole block of the lecture theatre missing, finds out who we are, calls us down, and basically we're parading in front of the teacher's office and the principal's office. Here we are, SC1, and being punished for cutting class. Yeah.
Friendship through the tough times.
Oh yeah. None of us actually let on what we did. On that day, they asked where we were, and we said we were at the sports complex, which is across the track. And when they asked like, why does it take some of us so long to get back, we'd say rubbish like, oh, it's very far away, although it's just across, or very big and people get lost there.
So that those negotiation skills are coming through.
Yeah.
Alright, so how has your experience been in national service? Because some people feel that going through, some accents actually feel that going through national service is wasting their studying time for about 1 to 2 years before they can go to university. So how do you think that your national service experience helped you?
I was very lucky, I think. I ended up, actually most people end up with their friends. And so it was a very good and enriching time. Not just that, but I think what those 2 years gave me, in my time was 2.5, right? What that 2.5 years gave me was a break. It gave me some time to think and some time to grow up before I entered university. I mean, I entered university and the girls were obviously 2 years younger. And you realize that, that perspective you gain from going through tough times in NS gives you a lot more weight. It gives you a lot more value in seeing certain things. You're more hardy because you've been faced with the elements. And B, you just react differently from the girls who, and I'm not saying girls in general are immature. No one. But I think that age gap, and of course I'm generalizing here. That age gap gives us a lot more perspective, gives us time to think, and here's what I've actually experienced from a couple of my friends. Because we all apply for university before we go into NS, or the first year, and we get our results in the middle of NS. But that 1.5 years, 1.5 years after getting our results, for admission results, gives us time to think about what we really want to do in life. Is it really medicine? Is it really engineering? Is it really law, business or accountancy, and you meet so many people and you get so many different perspectives. Let's face it, we grow up with the same bunch of friends from primary school, secondary school, IB or JC. So that kind of perspective is almost uniform. It is almost the same. Everyone sings the same song. But you go into NS and you meet a million different people with a million different viewpoints. That helped. And I have friends who decided, you know what, the tried and tested route might not be it for them. They decided, if you know, the next guy can decide to go out on a limb and try something else without any background, without any safety net. Why not them?
Right, so you would say that it gave you some time to mature emotionally as well as to think about your future.
Yeah.
Right, so just backtracking a little bit, about achieving some more emotional maturity, what would you say to, what are your thoughts about having a romantic relationship during one's school years, be it JC or in secondary school?
Oh, wow, these bring back some pain. No, I think let's face it, and I know your parents and your teachers say this, and I will say it too because I think it is important. But I think, you know, putting your studies as a priority is very important. There are very few second chances people will offer you, and very few people who will offer you second chances for many things. I've had the good fortune of a very supportive network of teachers and friends who, let's face it, almost everyone has a bad breakup, right? It's how you how you pick yourself up after that that's very important, and who you have around. Let's face it, everyone's like what 13 to 16 or maybe 17 when you're there, and when you're at that age we think we know everything and we can conquer the world, but the cold hard truth is you really don't know anything. So listen to people around you, go ahead, have a relationship, be mature about it, be responsible about it, have fun, but know your limits.
Alright, I think it's good advice. Alright, so moving on to your time in NUS.
Yeah.
How was your experience studying law at NUS?
Dude, I really can't remember if I studied much. I mean, it was great. I mean, of course, we had to, right? We couldn't graduate, but I know this is a bit off topic, but there's a reason why I picked NUS Law. It was close to home, friends were going, and I thought it gave me a lot of opportunity to get into the local legal scene as well, because we had a lot of opportunities to interact with local firms, etc. We moved from Kent Ridge, which isn't a very nice campus, to the Bukit campus, which personally was a fabulous place to study. It was great. We were very close to our professors on a first name basis, which is rare in Singapore.
Yeah.
We used to play football in the middle of the quadrangle, we called it. And the first window we broke, we thought that would be the end of it. And so the dean comes out and says, you know what, I'll keep paying for these broken windows. Just don't let this grass patch ever be quiet or never used, because this is what school and university is all about. So it was great, yeah, it was great. We did a lot of fun things. We studied, we got to pick things that we wanted to study. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of good friends. Incidentally, a lot of good friends from ACS were there, so I think that made quite a fair bit of difference. But then again, you grow up and then you meet and you're good friends with people from other schools.